She was black, and her hair was nappy. She was 5'6" with a bow-legged stand. When my brother killed himself, my father's response was that he repented the Lord that he had made man on earth. God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. Nonetheless, a change was.
That woke me up.
For so many days, she kept me in her pockets, jingling and jangling amongst the other change. I never thought that I, as change, could make a change in the heart of a nation so deranged, with thoughts that people like her were second-class citizens. And from my understanding, they brought them over here and they did everything they could to get rid of them, including deluding them into thinking that they deserve less than the white man. But from what I could tell, the change in her hands was the same as that of the white man's. So I couldn't fully understand why she had to ride on the back of the bus. But on that day in 1955, freedom was being brought to life as she walked slumped over. From long days hovering over the white man's feet at Montgomery Fair department store, making alterations to their pants, never knowing an alteration would be made by the change they put in her hands. That day was dreary, and she was haggard and weary as she paid her fare and got on the bus. She rested her fatigued feet, and when the white man told her to move, she said she wouldn't get up. When the white man told her to move, she said, I will not get up. They told her to put away her black pride. They said, the best thing for you to do is decide that you will get up out your seat and let this white man ride in your place. But she looked them in the face and said, not for another minute will I allow you to disgrace us and put us on the back of any bus. So they arrested her, and since I was in her pocket with all that other change, I guess you could say that they arrested us. You see, I thought I wanted to be paid as fair, to take a bus ride somewhere where people like her were free. But little did I know that change was all inside of me. So for 381 days, I stayed in her pocket. I stayed by her side. Other families refused to ride. Martin, Ralph Abernathy, Andrew Young, other families, black and strong, band together for freedom's sake. And never did the price being paid feel like a mistake. Even on cold and rainy days, Rosa would walk with me, jingling in her pocket, thinking, freedom is worth the price of change, and I will not let them stop me. Freedom is worth the price of change, and I will not let them stop me. Freedom is worth the price of change, and I will not let them stop me. So no matter where you come from, and no matter what situation you have to overcome, don't let anybody stop it. And if you want that bus ride to transformation, don't let this nation knock it, because you too could be holding change in your pocket.
Welcome back, family. We're back for round two, Art of Conversation. I am your host, standing in. I'm Willie P, along with DJ Buttons. We're back to do it all over again. So let's recap on the first hour. In the first hour, we talked about, we talked about Trump firing the FBI director, and we talked about Steve Harvey. Of course, his memo, his what I call the mean memo that brother blasted out. But we're gonna go ahead and we talked about bad bosses versus good bosses and what it is. But now on this next section, we're gonna talk about if you are not doing what you want to do in life as far as your job or your occupation, what is it that you dream about doing? And what's holding you back from doing it? What are some of your dreams and this dream, is it your hobby? Because sometimes your hobby could end up being, let's talk about that. Let's talk about people who started off with a hobby, turning it out into a career. DJ Buttons, chime in. What do you think, man? Can hobbies be turned into hobbies that's a passion be turned into, let's say, a career that that you can make money off of? What do you think about that?
Yes, it can. I mean, as far as like whatever your passion is, it can make money. But there are hobbies that people just do for fun or for health reasons or
Right.
just mental stimulation or whatever. But there are a whole bunch of hobbies out there that are lucrative. I mean, from collecting like rare coins to maybe baseball cards or old pictures, antiques, or whatever, or even music, or maybe semi-professional in sport or something. Even bowling. You can turn bowling into money. You can do it semi-professional. You become good at it. You can make some good money.
I was sitting there as you was talking. I was sitting there thinking. Many years ago, I was listening to NPR radio, and this lady, she had a job in New York. Well, not a job. She had her own business where she was an etiquette consultant. Mm-hmm. Now y'all thinking, what the heck is an etiquette consultant? Now, that's what I thought. And she talked about how she always had this, hobbies of basically etiquette consultant. So this lady was charging like $100, $150 an hour to basically teach CEOs and VPs how to hold forks and not so much of how to speak, but it was a lot of things such as like you go to a formal diner, a dinner. I'm sorry, formal dinner, not diner, formal dinner. And many people don't know the difference between, let's say, you have a salad fork versus a regular fork. And she was going on and on explaining all this, but this was a hobby of hers. And so what she did, she took this hobby of learning etiquette, and then she started consulting on the side. And I remember listening to this program, like, this woman is making out, she said, this was like in 99, 2000, she said she was making $150 an hour. Now, granted, she probably wasn't, booked up all the time, but I'm sitting there thinking, man, in this age, people are doing all kind of family. You ever wonder, maybe that little thing that it could be, I remember people, when I was coming up, crocheting. Remember that? Crocheting and knitting. And then they make, rugs and all, and they make money off of that. And so, if it's something that what we're talking about, if it's something that you like to do.
Yeah, I remember my brother coming up, he had some great talent as an artist. I mean, he could draw anything. Right. And he used to go around and actually put like designs on people's cars.
Yeah.
He had this other hobby where he would create like model boats out of cardboard. And he got so good at it. I mean, he can make one probably as long as this table and have so much detail on it. You'd be like, wow. And this was before I've seen it anywhere else. I'm like, man, that's great. And talent like that can sell, because it's rare. It's something, that you do personally. Everybody can't do it. So, you can make money. I've got a lot of different hobbies as far as like, music or you know,
Well,
maybe
right.
research. You know, I dabble into a little artistry too. You know, I make web pages and stuff like that. So,
But if it was one, if you just had to focus, let's say, on one particular hobby, one thing, and to really follow behind, what do you think for you, DJ Buttons? What do you think it would be for you?
I don't know. I would probably have to go with music. I mean, as one, because as far as music, it is a passion of mine. I like good music, you know. But anybody can do that. So although it's probably one of my deepest passions, I know I would have to come with something else in order to probably be successful or to make a living off of. So that's why I lean on my technical skills, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Constant learning, you know. I see something, you know, new come out, I'll go and look it up and research it and try to do it.
I feel you. I feel you on that. I feel you on. For me, everyone that knows me, though, traveling. You know, I am an avid traveler.
Can you make money traveling?
You know, that's the thing, brother. That's the thing. It's like, you know, I've been trying to figure out, man, how can I do this thing? You know, I'm a part of these different travel groups, and you know, we go different places, and I had a girlfriend a former girlfriend of mine about it, you know, a couple years back. She she was part of this called World Ventures Travel Group. And so basically, yeah, you know, she was involved in that, man, and you know, and she travel fanatic like myself, and but she didn't do that full time. She had it as her side hustle. But I'm talking about something. I'm thinking, okay, you know, yeah, that's good for a side hustle, but you know, I'm thinking, man, how would I do this where I could keep my current level of living and still do my dream? And that's the thing about it, that, you know, you sit down, you think about it, you do the math, like, okay, if I'm paying this out in rent or mortgage and car payment or whatever, can I really go ahead and do this dream, this hobby of mine, you know? Let's be honest, you know. But, sometimes you can't, you know, it depends on what the dream is, you know.
It's like you have to plan it and you have to have time for it. It's got to be, it can't be your mainstay if you don't have the means to support yourself with that hobby. But I think everybody should have a hobby or something else they're interested in, because the way I see it, jobs nowadays are really not keeping you in the loop on a lot of things, and they're not harnessing your talent. You have to do it yourself. So, you know, a lot of people, they get into these jobs and they get lost, you know, for years. You know, 20 years later, they're wondering why they never followed their passion or tried to do it. And it's because you're trapped in that job. You're going to 80 hours a week and putting all your stuff on the backbone. You gotta find time to enjoy yourself and do what's passionate for you. You know, it's not only just a peace of mind, but it's healthy and it's fulfilling. You know, when you look later back at your life.
But let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you just said when you said that a lot of people, and I'm listening to you, and I do see you are right, but also I think for us that are baby boomers, those of us that are over 40, that typically, yes, we did stay in jobs 20 years, but the millenniums, the people that the young adults in their 20s and you know, that are coming into the workforce, I was reading a statistic that they go, man, on an average 3 years on a job, 3 years. And let's talk about.
But that's part of
the culture today.
The culture, yeah. Because a lot of jobs are not keeping people. They rather have contractors. They're bringing in for a year or a 2-year contract, maybe extended for another year.
But could it be also too that the young people, the millenniums, they're trying to chase after a dream instead of just that stable paycheck, like those of us that are older, we wanted that stable paycheck. You know, maybe the younger people are the bigger dreamers than we are. Maybe
they want it too, but the thing is, they want it fast.
They want it fast, right?
When we came up, Yeah,
we had to work
baby
for.
steps. You know,
Yes.
there was such thing called
Seniority.
There was seniority and there was grandfathering.
Yeah, seniority.
But nowadays, that's going out the window.
Mhm.
You know, when they come in, they want it fast. They want to do your job tomorrow.
Yeah, they do.
I'm like,
They
wait a
do.
minute. I trained for like 5 years for this.
Exactly.
I'm like, no, I don't want to wait 5
And
years.
you know, it's funny you should say
I'm gonna
that.
do it tomorrow. Then they get in a position and find themselves coming and asking other people because they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah,
So they get
that's true.
overwhelmed. Then they leave. They figured it was more to it than they thought it was. So there's a lot of people
Man,
frustrated and wind up leaving. So
It-
it's not
it-
just that they're aspiring to do more, it's that a lot of them want it now and they don't know how to wait for it and how to train for it
Well, you know,
too. You know?
this old man once told me a couple of years ago, man, maybe 10, I mean, this was years ago, I never forget. He says, son, you guys now live in a microwave age where everybody wants things instantly. And, you know, let's go back to the 80s, the 80s, when people were getting jobs and, you know, if you got a job with IBM or you got a job, you know, with Dell or Microsoft, you know, typically you stayed unless you got fired, you know. But now the worker trends, you know, I was, you know, reading an article on salary.com and they were talking about, man, these were jobs, you know, I'm talking about, you know, really like, let's say, you know, it could be a IT position, systems administrator, or it could be something, you know, along that field, different jobs that people, they may stay in that field, but they wouldn't stay with the same company.
Mm-hmm.
Now people are moving, not just in IT and technical, even nursing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they said nursing, or, you know, we could take, you know, electrician. Someone that's an electrician or, you know, whatever, man. People are moving from job to job. And it kind of makes me think, you know, we're moving, we want more money, but are we doing our dream?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because...
But there's also something else that ties into that that's important. And, you know, it's missing a lot with this moving on.
Right.
That's retiring from a car.
Ooh, man. But when you're young, you don't think about that. Let's be honest. If you, come on, DJ Buttons. If you 25, 26, or anybody under 30, are you really thinking about retirement? When I wasn't thinking about that.
Not really. But
Now I'm pushing 50. I think about it all the time now.
yeah,
You know,
but with the way things are going, I think that's becoming lost in this moving around in this culture of jumping from job to job because you know you won't have the years,
right?
And then when you get older and you finally stop learning
Mm-hmm.
and you got all this old knowledge and you want to retire, it's going to be harder to do. You know, it's
Yes.
pretty much what I see with a lot of baby boomers and people our age, you know, now is that they went to school 20 years ago. They got all these skills. All of a sudden, something happened. The company downsizes, or they move, or whatever happened, medical, or whatever. Now they find themselves out there trying to recoup and
Reinvent
gain
themselves.
new knowledge and try to get a new job, work
Right,
in another field. And there's all these restrictions because you got to have this certification, you got to have this experience, you got to have this and that, and you know, it just makes it harder for you to be able to cope and maintain yourself later on. Whereas when you were in these long-term jobs, you know, you built up. You were there, you were stable, you know, you had your family, you lived in one spot. Now, you know, it's...
And let's be honest, with the new trend in corporate America, they want the fresh blood, the new people.
They do.
They want the, let's be honest, you know, they want corporate America, you know, you got
They
this.
want us to train.
They want us to train. And because here's the thing, somebody that's fresh out of college, you know, that hasn't, this is their first job, that company can train them on their ideologically, on their process, their flow. But if somebody such as you and I, that's been in the game, you know, that's baby boomers, we're over 45, whatever, you know, it's gonna take us a minute because, you know, so you tell me, well, hold on, when I was working at company A, we didn't do it that way. or when I was working at company ABC, and now I'm with company, D. Wait a minute, A, B, C, and D. So corporations don't want to have to fight with that. So they want that fresh blood. Yes, experience does matter. They want a little bit of both. If they can get somebody with experience, definitely they want experience trumps. Yes. But I got a buddy of mine right now. This brother has a master's degree in electrical engineering, and he's got 2 bachelor's degrees, and he's in Houston, and this brother's overqualified. See. He's out of work right now, in Houston, and it's like, wow, man, you got to, and the brother's my age. They don't want to pay the money. They don't want to pay. They so right now he's having a hard time finding work. He definitely don't want to start over, right down. Right. Because one, he's an older individual. Yeah. And you're trying to retire. You're trying to build on what you already got, so you can set yourself up to be successful in your later years. But you can't do that if you're not getting the pay. But then could it be that maybe, let's be honest, in this today's economy, we're seeing people make their own way, make their own jobs, and that comes back to the hobbies too. The hobbies, you got to find, if you find a niche. I think if you find something that you're good at, and you find it a niche. I was watching another hobby that I thought was crazy. This was on. I was watching a documentary about 2 years ago, where you see these Western movies where they always have the tumbleweeds, right? Yeah. This lady and her husband, I forgot, it was somewhere like in Oklahoma. They make the structures for movies, for Western movies, like tumbleweeds and all kind of the stuff that you see on a Hollywood set. Yes. So the lady was saying, we started this, making the tumbleweeds and making, some of the dresses and stuff. And they make she was saying this was like 2 or 3 years ago, watching this, like, wow, they started this as a hobby. And then they got contacted by movie studios, and basically, every time where there's a Western, it's just not tumbleweeds they make, but they'll make like, where the horse stirrups, where the horse comes up. And they do that kind of things. But because they lived on a ranch and they would make this stuff and they had a website and somebody caught hold of it. And so they got a clientele. So, they built this stuff, and they're a small outfit, but they built this stuff for Western, for Western movies. Yeah. And I was just thinking like, heck, they found a niche. How long it lasts, we don't know. Yeah. Just right like now they're living their dream. Let's take Uber. Uber was somebody's idea of a hobby. Like, you know what? And something probably happened one day where they didn't get their ride in time. It was like, I can do better. I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. And then sometimes that's all it takes. And you know what, man? Uber was really interesting. Today, my coworker and I, we were talking about this. He was educating me. He said that, Uber drivers, they get 80%. So if you're driving for Uber or Lyft, you pay the company 20%, you get the 80%. I'm like, man, that's a good deal. So I was like, wow, that's starting out. I know they had to start off with somebody's hobby. Mm-hmm. And now they're making money off of it. So it's just all these dreams, people. Basically what we're saying, if you had a dream, don't think that all that won't work. Even sometimes me, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? Mm-hmm. How can I do this traveling thing? Because I'm sitting there, and I got a 10-year plan, people. I got a 10-year plan. I'm paying off some things because right now I just can't just jump and leave my job. What I've learned, I've gone to different seminars for following your dreams and, having your own type of business. And one of the things they say, okay, if you can't afford to leave your job right now, if you got certain amount of bills and everything, you got to be realistic. You got to stay, okay, you know what? Right now, I need to pay some things down and get a little bit off my plate financially. If I got student loan or whatever, I need to pay some things down and then make that jump. Sometimes you have to do that. That's, but then also too, just like if you go on your own business, you got to have a business plan. You have to draw it out, something like that. But people, family, just think about it. What are some of your dreams? Some of your hobbies you think about,
Yeah, and you're right about planning to get out of that job, because I know a lot of people that are unhappy with their jobs, and the job is just driving them crazy and giving them health problems. And I think there was that one issue with the Uber driver that took his life because he felt like they were hindering him.
I didn't hear about that. Tell me about that.
You didn't hear about that?
No,
It was an Uber engineer. He worked for Uber
Uh-huh.
as an engineer. And he felt like he was trapped. He didn't like his job no more. I don't know what happened, the details of it, but he felt trapped. He couldn't quit. And the job was just pressuring him so much that he started seeing doctors and everything. And
Wow.
eventually, he took his life and left his family. And his wife right now is trying to sue Uber because of that. They're saying that the job drove him to the brink of insanity or to making an irrational choice.
You know,
Taking his life.
I'm not trying to be mean here, but I'm just going to be honest with you. Really, to me, that's not a legal leg to stand on. But yet, I've seen crazier. When the lady that sued McDonald's over, hot coffee, she spilled hot coffee. When you go into position, here's the thing: nobody's holding you to that position.
True.
So, to me, that man should say, I have left jobs that, I didn't like. I've done it before.
But
and I had bills to
I
pay.
think where he was, though, he had a very lucrative job. He was making 6 figures. And
So he got trapped
there
in
was
the
that
game.
many jobs in that area. So he was telling his wife, look, I want to take care of y'all. This is probably one of a few opportunities that we're going to have. So,
So
how do you deal with it?
well, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it?
Just quit and say, let's take our chances.
I've talked.
Making 6 figures to get unemployed and making $400 a month or $600 a month or whatever.
What you have to do if you're that unhappy, this is what you do. You got to start selling some things off. That means moving to a smaller home.
Mm-hmm.
You got, here's the thing. There's always a way.
It is.
And here's the thing. I was talking to individual who basically said, hey, you know what? I went from this much down to this much because I was at this place right here and it was too stressful and I had to let some things go financially. Okay, so you're making 6 figures. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, let's keep it real here.
Making 70,000.
So you go from 150. So then that means, what, babe? I'm sorry, babe, but we got to move from this 6-bedroom house
to a 3-bed.
to a 3-bedroom house. I can't. This job is stressing me out. See, what I've learned, what's more important than how much I make and what kind of car I drive, for me, is my health. If I'm not happy, if I'm feeling stressed out, you know what? I'm going to have to cut back on some things. Is it going to hurt me? Just like, but you know what? I'd rather have my health.
Yeah.
Because your life, you only got one life. And it's the same thing that if you're that unhappy where you are, you got to make a change. You got to make a change. And that's all I'm saying. It's like, okay, what are you willing to give up? A lot of people say, well, you know what, I can. Well, you know what? Most of us, there are some things that we can cut back on. I'm not saying all of us, but most of us that are making, let's say, a decent amount of money. I'm not talking about, you living dirt poor. I'm talking about that. If you got a roof over your head, you got a nice car, and you can do some things, but you still feeling stressed out, then you can come down. Then you can say, you know what, I can take this job over here, which I know will be a little bit less stress. But the problem is most of us are not willing to give up that comfort of, okay, man, you know what? I had this Mercedes, now I got to go down to a Nissan or whatever,
And it's funny you say that because
right.
I do feel like we get so caught up in a lifestyle.
Yes, we do.
And remember when we had the big recession? And well, the first one was the tech when WorldCom and what was it, Encore or
Encore, not Encore, but
WorldCom and
WorldCom.
The one Bush was, I think Bush was involved with the WorldCom, but there was another one.
Oh, you talking about Enron? Enron, back in
Enron
Houston.
World
Yeah,
Cup.
yeah.
Tech scandals.
Scandals,
when,
yeah.
when that happened.
Ooh, them people were jumping out of
There was
buildings.
some engineers back then
Yeah.
who took their lives.
They were jumping out
because
of
they
buildings.
lost their six-figure jobs.
Yes.
And livelihoods. So I feel like a lot of times we do get caught up in a lifestyle where we feel like we can't go back now. You know, we're taking all these trips.
Yeah.
We're driving a big whip, you know, with some 24s on it or whatever, you know. And
Yeah.
we got 3 cars, you know, 3 bank accounts, and just living how off the horse, eating out every day. Now all of a sudden you lose that job or have a medical condition. You can't make as much
now you back to
money.
eating beans and franks out of the can. You know what I'm saying?
depressed.
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah.
So it's just by saying that, I mean to say that it's easy to get caught up in living a lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
instead of living just to be happy. Don't get caught up in a lifestyle of material. You know?
Right. Well, see, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I'm not talking about success. It's been said success is not measured by what you have, what you own. True success is happiness.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a guy, man, that he's a janitor making $30,000 a year. And you say, how can but he's happy because he may go home to a house that's full of love, family that loves him, and he might not have a lot of money, but you know what? His influence on let's say he's a janitor in the school and the kids love him. Okay, kids love him. He makes just enough money for a little house or whatever. And he's in a place where he's got peace and he ain't got no stress. Then you got this VP who's making $250,000 a year, barely sees his kids, or female VP, male or female, don't have enough time to see the kids. The kids got cheerleading. Daughter may have cheerleading, the son may have football.
Cheating on them because they don't.
Right. So yeah, you making $250 a year, but you barely get a chance to see your kids. Check out their games. You barely get a chance to see your spouse, husband or wife, and next thing you know, they over here cheating, you over cheating, you over here, man, popping pills and everything. And I'm not saying that's in every case, but you'd be amazed, family, all the stories that I've read and seen of people that in these high fluent positions, making all this money, but they're not happy. So money is not where you are in your dream, your hobby is not how much money you make or what kind of car you drive or the house you live in. It's about your mind. It's about, do you have peace?
I had a conversation with a group, and there was this one woman. She said, I have everything. Everything I could ever want or ask.
Right.
And, but the thing that makes me happy are the little things. It's spending quality time with my mate.
Exactly.
It's taking the kids to functions and watching them be happy and, helping them grow, leaving a legacy like that, that fulfills her, not the money and the cars and all the other fancy stuff, It's like all of that is just for show, for, outside or whatever. But her real happiness is inside.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand it.
Man, I used to be one of them cats, man. I wanted a, big fat house and used to have dreams of, having this flashy type of sports car. Don't get me wrong, I love cars. I love cars. But, now, the biggest thing for me, like I was telling my girl, to be able to, to take a trip with her a couple times a year, spending time with her, spending time with family, friends. I have a job that I enjoy my job. It's cool. It's not so stressful. I enjoy the people I work with. So I'm in a good place for me. So you know what? I can't complain with where I'm at. So the thing about it is you got to get to that point where it's like, because people say, well, don't you want more? Yeah, sure, I want more, but I don't thrive on it. It's not like I get up and like, oh, I got to have more. Now it's like, you know what, man? I'm content where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, if you find yourself that you're content, there's nothing wrong with wanting more. I feel if that's your hobby, your dream to want more, bigger and bigger, bigger. But understand why do you want more? Is because you get that more, then you're gonna want some more, and it's just gonna be empty more and more and more. That's just my opinion. I don't know what you think.
I went there. I've never been a person that done that, but at one point in my life, I went out there and I tried to shoot for 6 figures.
Right.
I was putting everything in. I had a job. I had a self-employed company.
Okay.
I was doing other stuff, and
that brother was a hustler, baby. Woo!
I was getting it.
I was getting it. That's what I was getting. That brother was getting it. That's what I'm talking about.
And
I ain't mad
was
at you,
not
man.
happy, though, and my life finally broke down because that wasn't me.
So I mean, but what was it that made the light click on for you that okay, this dream that I have, which is not a bad dream, because we need the entrepreneurs out there. But what was it for you personally, DJ Buttons, that made you say, this ain't for me, going that far?
Well, partly was watching everything else leave. Okay, I got the money, but now everything else is broke. So, it's a trade-off.
I kind of wonder, you hear that. I kind of wonder, you hear people say, I've heard people say that you got to give up something. If you're pursuing that so strong, you're going to sacrifice. And I do believe that what are you willing to sacrifice for this dream? If it's something that you just really, really want, and there's nothing wrong, but what are you willing up to give? Is it going to be, for me, I think relationships are important. You only have a few, not just family, but friends or whatever. So I'm not willing to give up my relationship with people that I care about and love to chase after this, to be one-minded after this one thing.
Yeah.
I'm not,
and that normally what happens because you lose.
But do you think that's always true though?
It's not always true, but it happens a lot. I mean, because you don't have time for nothing else. If you're chasing money, you don't got time for nothing else, and nothing else matters really to you. That becomes your priority, your drive, your time, your energy. What else do you got time for?
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know how to handle that, especially if they've never had money, because they don't know how to separate things. They're steadily trying to get money, even when they're in the presence of their kids or significant others.
Right.
Like, man, wait a minute, y'all. Let me. I gotta make another move right here. And they like family like, didn't you just put in 120 hours?
Yeah.
Get an hour,
Okay.
So
maybe it's best to pursue that when you're young and you don't have, let's say, a wife or a husband or kids involved, and do that when you're young compared to
But you can do it older too, but you got to know how to prioritize.
Balance.
You got to know how to.
I agree with you.
I
agree.
What do they call it? In the job they call
time
it
management.
Time management, but they also call it you got to have
boundaries, some type of boundary. Balance, yeah. And that's very important. I have
you
learned.
You can have everything you want, but you got to balance. You got to know what's really important and keep that in your focus, because it's easy to lose if you don't have your eyes on it.
It's funny that you should mention that, because I've seen people in my time in corporate America. I've seen people who spend all their time at this particular job as a manager or whatever, and they're always there, and it's like, man. And then you hear stories where, this other person who spent 20 or 30 years with the company died. Yeah. And it's like, man, and then life moves on, but
and all the stuff they work for,
and all the stuff and you're
somebody
right,
or just goes away.
And this person put their heart and soul, and they it's like they rarely made time out. They didn't take vacations. I've seen people that don't take vacations.
Spend time with family.
Right. They may take a day off here and there, and they constantly just grinding. It's like, okay, you know what? You're constantly grinding, but you're neglecting family or other things, and that's not important to them, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, people say that, yeah, it is. You don't know if that's important. It's like, well, you know, it goes back to what you said, DJ Buttons. It's not it's not a life balance. That's I don't, you know.
Yeah, and to truly be successful, you have to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yeah. Yes.
You're not really successful if you're not. You know?
Yeah.
You can say you are, but we all know the truth.
Man, I tell you, and for me, I think, you know, for me, a thing that I think about, and you can see what you think about this, DJ Buttons. People want to leave their mark before, let's be honest, before we pass on whatever. And a lot of times we allow what we do to become us. And so, like, say, you know what, I'm going to build up this empire so y'all know I was here, that I've done all this, you know, or whatever. And in the process of building this empire, we forget the people that we leave it for.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're leaving this statue, this proverbial statue of who we were, what we done. But what about the people that we say we, you know, leave behind? You know, I don't know, just something. I don't know what you know. What do you think?
That's true. Yeah, it just ties back into everything. You know, as far as, you know, like you said, the life balance, as far as being a success, as far as fulfillment. You know, when you look back at everything, you want to be able to say, I had a good life, I left a legacy,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed myself, you know, doing it. And, you know, I wouldn't trade it. I'll do it all again.
That's what I see. That's what I want to be able to say, you know, if God upstairs allows me to live a, you know, long life, and I'm, you know, I'm laying on my deathbed, I'm slowly dying. I want to be able to say, if I have that, if I'm graced with that, I want to be able to sit there and think back, like, you know what? Yeah, I have a few regrets. That's okay, but I enjoyed my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I enjoyed my hobbies. Right, I did. I enjoyed my hobby. I may have
my passion.
Right. I follow my passion. You know, I'm. You know, whatever my hobbies, my dreams were. You know, I tried to do that. Whatever. And so, you know, it just goes back to what we all talking about. We're talking about, you know, what are some of the hobbies and dreams. You know, for me, you know, like I said, I got a bucket list. You and I talked about this. You know, I got a bucket list to visit 30 countries before I pass. I'm at 15, and so I'm on this mission that, you know,
That's good.
you know, I got 15 more countries to go. I make that 15. If God allows me, I make that 15. Then I might up it to, you know, to instead of 40. You know, but you know, that's a dream of mine. That's just a crazy wacky dream. You know, so it is what it is. You know?
That's your passion. Man.
That's my passion. You know, traveling is my passion. You know, so.
And you got a road dog to ride with yourself.
Oh man, woo!
That's
I'm
what makes it sweeter. You know?
Oh man, I'm about to put a ring on that girl right there, boy.
And she's somebody that's all in with you and on board of the plans. You know, you can't ask for that.
And she's passionate about it, and she a flight attendant.
More than that.
Oh boy, she a flight attendant. So you know, I get some benefits with that. I'm just saying, fam. I gotta hurry up, put a ring on this girl's finger real quick. That's what I'm gonna do. But DJ, what's you know, let's talk about you though. Let's talk about you. Some of your other, you know, let's say hobbies and dreams that you want to see fulfilled.
Well, one of my main dreams is going to Africa and visit at least 3 to 4, maybe 5 countries.
Yeah. Have you thought about which ones? 'Cause I'm on the same boat with you, brother.
Ghana,
Right.
Egypt, South Africa, Ethiopia, and Zimbabwe. Man, you know what? Because Africa is a continent, and I've thought about Egypt, Morocco, for me, man, and Kenya. Kenya's supposed to have some beautiful land. But yeah, bro, what else, man? I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, and that's one. Another one, you know, is I don't know. I want to do something on my own. You know, I want to tap into some of my talent and just be an entrepreneur. You know, so I can get out of the rat race in corporate America. You know, and be my own boss.
Yeah.
And That's all. Well, I've always had something going on as a entrepreneur. Always, since the last probably 10, 15 years.
Jay-Z said, "You a hustler, baby."
No. So I know how to get out there and apply myself.
Right,
but,
right.
As far as other passions, I got that travel bug like you. I want to get it out.
Right.
I want to go to places like Brazil. I want to go to.
Do it before you get married. Oh, player. Woo, some fine women in Brazil. All right, I got sidetracked, y'all. I digress.
Yeah.
I digress.
I want to visit a few places in Europe. Maybe some of the on the Asian plains,
Right.
Middle Eastern.
Okay.
When it stabilizes.
Yeah, man. You ain't lying about that, man. Ooh, man, you ain't lying.
I actually want to go up to Canada, which is easy. I think I can knock that one out fast.
All right.
In Mexico and all these other little places. So, I got that bug. I'm going to get it over with. But as far as, I want, like you said, I want to leave my stamp on something.
Yeah.
And be like, I created this and left it, and just not for ego, but, to help people,
Right. But don't you think sometimes it can be, let's be honest, as human beings, when we say we want to leave our stamp, I've thought about this. It is a little ego, I think.
It is.
Because, one of the things for me, as you know, I write poetry. So, and I was telling my girl this, I've been writing poetry for 15 years and I was telling my lady this, that I want to write a poem that would be so deep and epic, it's going to be like a Langston Hughes poem, I Too Am America, where people, after I'm dead and gone, will just read it, speak about it. When you look at the great poets, that's another one of my passions, is poetry and writing. And it's like, I scramble my mind, like, okay, what could I say that will just, 20 years from now, after my death, that some young man will sit up and read, and he'll read to a classroom, and just like, wow, and I've been put my work out there, and of course, as a one thing I learned, that you're not truly an author until you've been rejected. I've had rejection after rejection. I've sent poems to the New York Post, to different publications, and got a lot of rejections. And so I keep plugging away.
What's that saying? Nothing beat a baby but a try.
Yeah, you keep trying. But I think, going back to my earlier statement, sometimes I think about this, and family, y'all chime in on this. Do you think that when you say, I want to leave my mark behind, is it a little bit, not egotistical, but a little bit of your own pride that's involved in that?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah, something to think about,
But I also got a little writer's bug in me too.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know you do. Yeah. Tell me about some of your work, man.
I used to do a little poetry, but
right.
My main thing is writing, research, and books. I used to do like stories a while back.
Yeah.
I would create a whole story and just write it out in one night. Bam, 30 pages.
I tried that, brother. I got a couple of short stories.
I mean, these are the things that you lose when you're grinding in a job 80 hours a week or so.
Man, yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times a job takes your creativity because you're drained, or you're stressed, or you just don't have time.
And it takes a lot of discipline to sit down, because I know I've gotten,
especially when you got
stuff going,
significant other or kids.
Yeah.
They need time.
Yeah, they do.
So
they do.
You stress for time, and if it's one thing you need to do though, is to make time for yourself.
I agree with
all
you.
your passions, one way or the other.
And it's also a discipline to, because I know in my writing, my poetry writing, I've fallen off a little bit. I wrote the last poem I wrote was about 2 months ago. But before me and my lady got together, I was, basically single for 3 years, whatever. And I was writing more. I was writing more because I would come home, be by myself or whatever, right? But and I'm not blaming her for this, it's just, it's me. I got to sit down and carve out that time, because she's not stopping me. But I've gotten sidetracked and on pursuing that part of my dream of putting a poem out there for the world to see and keep grinding. It's like what you said earlier, that life balance. I got to do that life balance more.
Yeah.
And I think as individuals, that's what we have to do. We have to, grind away. It's okay to have that dream, grind away, but also, make sure that you balance work, life, significant other, dream, passion, whatever it is, That's what that is, bro.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. So family, y'all chime in, see what y'all think about what we talked about, these hobbies, dreams, goals, how they wrap up, how they basically how they integrate into what could be your future, what could be your mark upon this earth, a lot of times.
Allow your 9 to 5.
Yeah. But I think, one of the worst things in life is to have a life that wasn't lived. One of the worst things, family, in life is to have a life that wasn't lived. Meaning this, that all you did was, you lived a life that was just, you were just here. You was existing. You didn't, it's not about how much money you made, but you just went home, go to work, paid your bills,
and did it all over again.
And just did it over and over and over again. And some people say, well, that's how some people live. That's true. That's how some people live. But are they living up to their God-given potential? That's all I'm saying. We all got. It is not all about everybody being great or being in the limelight, but I believe that we all got a purpose on being here. Yeah. And to me, I could be wrong, family. Y'all help me out here. But I don't think your purpose is just to, go to work, come home, flip on the TV, do it all over again. Go work, come home, flip on the TV, do it all over again. Mm-hmm. It's got to be more than like just if that's what you're doing. You got to get out.
Where I used to write out goals.
Yeah.
All the time, and it's like it kind of helped me put a guideline on things. Like, okay, you accomplished this. This is next, and I stopped doing it. And I don't know if I stopped doing it because I got more maybe reckless or whatever, but
right.
But the main thing is that kept me kind of focused on what I need to do, what my passion was, because, I feel like if I didn't do this, then I didn't accomplish my goal, and, I kind of looked down on myself like, well, you missed the goal, you supposed to do this last year and you didn't do it. Yeah. So that's one thing I probably want to start back incorporating, is to have goals like that where I set them out, I'm going to do this in 3 months, this in 6 months, this in 5 years, this in 10 years.
I think I used to do the same thing. I would write out certain goals on a sheet of paper, and then I would keep it like on my nightstand or whatever, or keep it in my drawer. It wouldn't always be, it wouldn't always be visible where I could see it, but if I go in my drawer or something, whatever, I'll look at it, and it held me to my conviction of, okay, Bill, you wrote this down. And I stopped doing that. I stopped doing that like yourself, and I think that's a good thing, to hold yourself accountable. If it's something that you want to do, hold yourself accountable. Write it down, look at it, because when you, and even date it, put a date on it. Say, this is on this date, I wrote this is the goal I want to, it may not be done by this date or whatever, but on this date, May, 11th, 2017, I said that, I want to go to Africa within the next 5 years. I plan to, not just I want to. I plan to go to Kenya in the next 3 to 5 years. Boom. And so, therefore, every time when I look at that, okay, that's my goal. What am I going to do about that? How am I planning? What money am I going to need? Where am I going to stay? It's holding me somewhat accountable. Whatever your dream goal is, you know. You got to put it on paper and just focus on it. Just focus on it. That's what's going on, family. That is what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. DJ Buttons, what you think about it? You know?
I think you're exactly right. You know,
Yeah.
write them out, plan them, and you know, see where you're at on that guideline.
Yeah. Man, so what's going on this week, DJ Buttons? I know we're getting close to the midnight hour. So, what is happening around the city, as Christy would say? What's going on? We want to know what's going on the streets.
I don't know what's going on, but I know it's Mother's Day. You know, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. My mama, you know, everybody else is yours.
Yeah. My mother's, she's no longer here, but I believe she's in heaven. Happy Mother's Day, Mama.
Yeah.
All the mamas.
Some
DJ
people
Buttons
having little gatherings, you know, barbecuing. I'll be in the cabin barbecuing, but I'll be back Sunday.
Okay.
Somebody barbecue, you know, hit me up. I'll come through.
Yeah.
Get a plate or something, you know.
Well, family, I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale, laying on the beach, you know, next to my girl or whatever. But I'll be back Saturday, late Saturday. I'm flying out tomorrow. I'll be back late Saturday. But, you know, it's Sunday. You know, I plan on going to church and maybe definitely take my girl out, get her, you know, feed her, get her out there, you know. I don't know what's going on. I know there's probably going to be some Mother's Day brunches going on this Sunday. For all the family members out there, hug your mama. Your mama's still alive. Hug her. Treat her well. Because you know what? We don't know. I lost my mother last year. Missed her dearly. We don't know. You know. We don't know the day or the hour. So take care of your mamas, kinfolk. Take care of your mamas.
That's right.
So, all right.
With that said, we will be ending this show. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Got Willie P. Williams over there, you know.
Yeah.
DJ MRI. This is Eargasm Radio Network. Silver Tongue is out. So is EXX Rated. Christy and JK. So, you know, we'll be back on maybe this weekend or next weekend. I don't know what their plans is, but, you know, we wanted to get a show in. And we came in, me and Will knocked it out. Had a few difficulties and whatnot, but, you know, we're here.
Yeah.
And just appreciate y'all for tuning in. You know, and even if you go and check out the feed later, you know, it's all appreciated. Put a like on there and check us out. Put some comments. Tell us what you think. But we'll be back next week. Enjoy y'all weekend and your mothers and your Mother's Day. And we out.
We out. Deuces.
God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. Nonetheless, a change would soon come. For so many days, she kept me in her pockets, jingling and jangling amongst the other change. I never thought that I, as change, could make a change in the heart of a nation so deranged, with thoughts that people like her were second-class citizens. And from my understanding, they brought them over here and they did everything they could to get rid of them, including deluding them into thinking that they deserve less than the white man. But from what I could tell, the change in her hands was the same as that of the white man's. So I couldn't fully understand why she had to ride on the back of the bus. But on that day in 1955, freedom was being brought to life as she walked slumped over. From long days hovering over the white man's feet at Montgomery Fair department store, making alterations to their pants, never knowing an alteration would be made by the change they put in her hands. That day was dreary, and she was haggard and weary as she paid her fare and got on the bus. She rested her fatigued feet, and when the white man told her to move, she said she wouldn't get up. When the white man told her to move, she said, I will not get up. They told her to put away her black pride. They said, the best thing for you to do is decide that you will get up out your seat and let this white man ride in your place. But she looked them in the face and said, not for another minute will I allow you to disgrace us and put us on the back of any bus. So they arrested her, and since I was in her pocket with all that other change, I guess you could say that they arrested us. You see, I thought I wanted to be paid as fair, to take a bus ride somewhere where people like her were free. But little did I know that change was all inside of me. So for 381 days, I stayed in her pocket. I stayed by her side. Other families refused to ride. Martin, Ralph Abernathy, Andrew Young, other families, black and strong, band together for freedom's sake. And never did the price being paid feel like a mistake. Even on cold and rainy days, Rosa would walk with me, jingling in her pocket, thinking, freedom is worth the price of change, and I will not let them stop me. Freedom is worth the price of change, and I will not let them stop me.